friends, I hope you're all doing well. I am Baltmatrix and I could have been a Camaro. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers, Bumblebee movie, Nitro Blasters, Blitzwing, and Dropkick. I picked both of these figures up over at Amazon.com. They were recently available, and what's really weird is I ordered them at like 9 p.m. on a Saturday night, and today is Sunday. They showed up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock a.m., which was really cool and creepy at the same time. Anywho, let's go ahead and take a look at these figures. They're not cheap at 19 bucks a pop, but I kind of like them. So enough of me talking. Let's take a look. Taking a look at Blitzwing, the first thing you notice is just how drab the figure looks. I don't like the sandstone color that they've got with the legs, and the kind of charcoalish black doesn't work all that well, but the red and the yellow and the head sculpt all work incredibly well. We'll get into the head in just a minute. The overall figure really does feel kind of brickish. Posability is incredibly lacking on this figure. Head does not move at all. Shoulders have hinges for in and out, and then a swivel for forward and back. There is an upper arm swivel just above the elbow, and the elbow does bend 90 degrees, but that's more part of the transformation. There's a hollowness to the entirety of the figure in the limbs that I'm really not a fan of. But this guy painted up in the original Blitzwing color scheme would be fantastic. Even though I like the overall design of this figure, the lack of posability is annoying. I don't like that at all. But I can't help but really enjoy this figure for the sheer audacity of it. But every time I pick it up, I think it's shatter. Blitzwing was in the movie so little, I forgot that he was there. Man. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know he's dispatched rather quickly, so I'm glad it wasn't Starscream, but still, it's a neat character and a neat mold and a neat idea that just wasn't utilized at all, which is a shame. Now let's talk about this head sculpt, because the head sculpt is incredibly good, and there's also a gimmick going on here. More on that in just a second. The red, the black, and then the silver mouthpiece make it more reminiscent of a Transformers version of Bane than a Seeker, but the head sculpt is that of a Seeker, at least a movie Seeker. The face, though, not so much. Now, I originally thought this thing had light piping, but as you can see if you turn it around, it does not. It does, however, have a nod to Transformers Animated. So if you pull open the little cockpit here, what you get is Crazy Face! More of a Joker-like face, or the crazy evil face from Blitzwing and Transformers Animated. I love this touch. I think it actually works incredibly well for the figure, but the color scheme doesn't work for me. So I'm super tempted to send this off to my good buddy Grimlockimus to turn it into a more G1 accurate figure. The Nitro engine for this figure can be stored on his back via one of these peg holes like that, and you can actually store two of them, but if you put two of them on here, he's just going to topple right over. So just leave the engine off to the side, and it works with any engine, red or blue. Blitzwing's transformation is pretty simple to start off with. We're going to come to the back, open up the canopy, flip the canopy around 180 degrees over the robot's head, and then close it up like so. Then push the canopy out along the back of the figure until it looks like he's pooping out part of a plane. Then take the shoulders and grab the arms and literally just flip them up like that, and then turn them 180 degrees so that the peg is pointing towards the front of the chest of the robot mode, and line them up like so. Next, come to the arms and turn the swivels so that the fists are pointing back, and then you could fold the elbows around and peg the fists into these peg holes, and do that on both arms. And things have a tendency to get in the way here. You might want to do this before you flip the shoulders up. This is actually the hardest part of the transformation, is just getting these arms into place, because things just get in the way when you try to do it. Next, we're going to come down to the legs, turn the figure around and grab these wings and fold them all the way down to the heels, and then take the legs and point them straight out like you're doing the splits. When you do that, you can take the canopy in the front of the fuselage and push it all the way down, then bend the legs in, and there is this little peg hole inside the armpit. There's a peg right on the outside of the leg, and those two will snap together. And as long as you've got everything lined up correctly, you're fine. Then fold out the wings and flip the fuselage closed, and that's the plane mode. Yeah, again, I like the red, I like the charcoal's okay, but this weird tan color doesn't work, at least for me. So here's Siege Starscream, and you see it's several different shades out of whack for me. Yes, I realize this is Blitzwing and not Starscream, but you get what I'm saying. I like the plane mode, but it does suffer from square robot kibble underneath a plane. Very Nitro Zeus feeling. And I swear we've also seen this with Silverbolt from the original Siege line. No, Siege. Combiner Wars, Silverbolt, and Combiner Wars. Oh geez, Scattershot and Cyclonus, and I think there's another one. Anywho, yeah, I'm getting really tired of Hasbro making the brickish robot contortion underneath the plane mode and then a plane on top. Anywho, to insert the Nitro engine, flip that fuselage opening open. You've got the two thrusters there, and drop the Nitro engine down until it snaps into place, and then put it on the floor and push the button and see how far it goes. And Nitro blasting! Height-wise, Blitzwing is dwarfed by NP10 Prime, but is just a smidge taller than Studio Series Bumblebee Movie Prime. Next up, let's take a look at Dropkick. I think the coloring on Dropkick works a lot better than it does on Blitzwing. The blue really works well with the gray metal we've got going on here, the red chest, and that head sculpt is very, very nice. I really, really like that head sculpt. It's just nasty and Decepticon-y. Unfortunately, this figure doesn't seem to possess the same head flip gimmick that Blitzwing does. Posability for this Dropkick figure is really the same as what we were looking at, or very similar to what we were looking at with Blitzwing. No head articulation, ball joint in the shoulder, double elbow articulation, both on little ratchets. Legs don't have any forward or back articulation, but do have in and out for the transformation. And there is no knee articulation other than a bolt or a pin here for the transformation. He does have the ability to have a very annoying helicopter blade on his back that constantly flops around and hits you in the hand whenever you try to move it. Size-wise, again, he is dwarfed by MP10 Prime, but is exactly the same size as Studio Series Optimus Prime, Voyager class. Like Blitzwing, Dropkick can store the thingy, the Nitro Blaster, on his back, but unfortunately, yeah, that doesn't work. Well, I mean, you could flip this out and do that, and that's just stupid. Dropkick's transformation is a little bit more complicated than Blitzwing. To start off, we'll fold up the arms and then point them kind of like you're tucking them up behind the shoulders like that, and then grab the entire front of the vehicle or the robot mode and flip it up like that so that the back covers the robot head. Then come to the legs, and there is this little swivel hinge right here at the upper hip, but just above that there's another. So then what we'll want to do is rotate the legs all the way up like that. But before we do that, come down to the thigh swivel, spin the legs 180 degrees, and then flip, and then come to the inside of that and flip out the tail rotors. And then we can grab the entire hip and flip that all the way up and around underneath the robot, like that. And peg everything into place. Then grab what were the shins, flip them out. Then grab the toes and flip them up into the shins. And fold that all the way up until they peg into the peg holes just underneath the front of the helicopter mode. Then the arms, fold them back down and grab the section that the arms are pegged into and that will fold down and snap into place. And then finally, take the giant guns, flip them out, fold them down, and then peg them into these pegs that are sticking off the shins. Like that. And then flip out the rotors. And here we have the helicopter mode. Now for the Nitro Blast gimmick. These little exhaust ports on the back behind the helicopter blades, push them and they will flip out these panels. And they do have a tendency to stick, so just be aware of that. And then take the engine and drop that down into place until it snaps into place. Now, word of warning, this is actually Blitzwing's engine. The engine that came with my Dropkick flat out doesn't work. You push it down and it locks and it doesn't actually spin. So yeah, just be aware of that. These little Nitro Blast engines, they kind of suck quality-wise. And here we go! Now if I have to pick just one between Dropkick and Blitzwing, which one would I get? Honestly, I've got to go with Dropkick. I like Dropkick a lot more. I think it's a lot more fun. I think the transformation is more fun. And I just kind of like the helicopter more. Now that's not to say that Blitzwing isn't bad. The biggest problem I have with him is the lack of real paint apps along the entire fuselage of the figure, and two, in alt mode, I mean, it's just a robot kind of folded up underneath, and we've had this for a while, and this has been kind of a problem going on with pretty much all of Transformers for the past, 10 years or so, where Dropkick, it feels like, yes, there is a robot folded up in there, but it's not as easily visible. Yeah, you can see his feet right there, but even his hands are well hidden, and it's just, to me, more of a fun figure. And that fun factor comes from the fact that just Dropkick is a better looking figure, and it's a much more enjoyable transformation than Blitzwing. Blitzwing's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of boring. And again, the giant Kibbly robot underneath the plane mode is annoying to me. Dropkick, for me, is the definite winner here, but I have to say I like both of them. However, both of them have the same problem of the lack of posability, and let's face it, the Nitro Blaster gimmick doesn't really work. I would love to have seen Hasbro make these figures with more posability at the same scale without the gimmick. Really would love to have seen what they would have come up with that option. What can you do? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video review. I picked these figures up over at Amazon.com. They should be available at my good friends over at Big Bad Toy Store and The Chosen Prime shortly. Both of them are worth your money, though $20 is a lot to ask. Again, if you can only get one, get the Dropkick. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit the bell so you know when a new video is out, because Lord knows YouTube isn't going to tell you. As always, I am Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time.